Are you attending Figma Config in person? What an amazing privilege. I got to go there last year, and that was something I was super excited about. In this video, we're going to give you some really good tips and tricks so that you can optimize your conference experience. I'm joined by my colleague, Rodney Man.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rodney Man. I've been in the UX business for close to 15 years now. I have worked at Cvent for a good portion of that. I'm going to be at Config this year. It will be my third time attending. Last year I got to present at Config, and that was really fun, talking about dev mode. And this year I'm attending in the executive track with a team of people from my design system side of the house. So yeah, really excited to be there and get back in San Francisco. I love that city.
We wanted to talk to you about some tips and tricks that will help you optimize your experience. And the first thing we want to start with is what to do before the conference. So there are a few things that will help you if you do them ahead of time. The most important element, as far as I'm concerned, is the agenda. When I actually went ahead and booked my agenda last year, I wasn't very prepared. I was simply skimming through stuff. I chose what seemed from the title like the most interesting topic for me. But my recommendation to you is do a better job. Do some research about who are the people speaking.
Definitely look at the agenda, sign up for those courses because they can get filled up and you might be waiting in a line to get checked in. If people don't show up, there's always like a little overflow line. But yeah, you want to probably have your name on that list so you can get in without any issue. Another recommendation I would have is, check out the shoulder content that's happening around the conference. There's a couple of newsletters that are doing some things. There's always some companies running a few little appetizer get-togethers so you can check out their software. Beyond that, I would say, see if anybody that you met in previous years is going, or, just look for who's posting on LinkedIn. Just do a little search, and if you see anybody that you think you're going to vibe with, send them a message. It's like saying hi before you see them in person. It makes it a little easier. You can download the map to save it for offline reference later. Definitely recommend that. You can do that on Google Maps. If you're traveling from out of the States and you don't want to roam, you have access to, directions and everything like that. Get acquainted with how far your hotel is from the event. San Francisco is very walkable, but it also has a lot of hills, so if you are in the hilly area, prepare for a easy walk there and a hell of a walk home.
And in terms of travel, definitely do your research ahead of time. The hotel that you're staying at, it would be very helpful to stay nearby, close to the Moscone Center. The Moscone Center is actually about 40 minutes away from the San Francisco airport. You might need to take an Uber or public transportation to get to your hotel, but staying nearby will allow you to go in between and take breaks if you needed to.
There is a lot of good public transit, and just so you know, there's the Mooney and the BART, and the BART is for getting from city to city, town to town, and the Mooney is like the municipal SF metro stage system. So don't get on the BART by mistake.
Now, we're gonna start talking about what happens once you're there inside the event, and some very useful things that I wish I knew last year. My most important tip would be go there ahead of time. If you can arrive the previous day and go and get your badge and register the previous day, that is definitely optimal, because there were people who registered on the day of the event and got delayed from the keynote. You definitely do not want to miss the keynote. The keynote is the most important part of the event for me. That was the most fulfilling and exciting session to actually be there in person. Right, Rodney?
Absolutely, yeah. They really build the hype. I mean, we all look forward to what the announcements are going to be, and our heads are immediately swimming with ways we're going to apply this to our daily. I'm pretty excited to see what they have this year. So like Nehmat said, get there early, get your badge early, and a whole lot easier than showing up right at the start.
On both days of the event, I highly recommend that you also go early. At least last year, the session started at 9 o'clock, but if you can get there, they open at 7 o'clock. There are so many things inside the event that would be very useful for you. There are all these booths by different companies that are displaying their products or different things they're working on. There's also some kiosks that you would want to experiment with or enjoy.
No, they have the Figma store, so if you're looking for some swag, well, you can go and check that out. The Commons is another cool thing that you can check out. So it's outside, just on the other side of the street from the Moscone Center. And it's, outdoor activity before the event starts. They've got free food, free drinks. We made t-shirts. We were able to press our own t-shirts last year. There was some music. Yeah, it's just a good time, It's really easy to strike up conversation with anybody because we're all there for the same thing. So don't be afraid to say hi.
And the lines are so long that you're going to have an opportunity to interact with other people. It's very normal at such a large event. With like last year, there were 13,000 people in 2024. So optimize your time to actually enjoy them. This is a good place where you're behind somebody to get to know them. Actually, this is when I met so many people. It was a great opportunity to network. But there are some of those booths that you would actually want to make use of. So my favorite last year, Rodney, was the one where we got to put those little things. Here you go. The little swag, the little Figmas on our bag. We had a config bag and we got to get those little things and they ironed them on the bag. So that would be a really good line. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing this year, but that's why going early will give you the opportunity, especially the first day before everybody gets in line for it. It will give you the opportunity to actually make use and benefit of those booths that are there, because during the breaks, you're not going to have time to do that. Like with these long lines, with the lunch breaks being so short, you're barely going to have time to run, get in line, and grab yourself a lunch box. So be aware of this. We're not telling you about the lines to deter you, but to prepare you that you want to plan a little bit ahead.
Introverts, plan ahead. Get your extrovert defense systems up and just say hi and let the conversation roll.
And also, make sure in those lines that you manage to get yourself a lunch, but also make sure that you manage to get to your next session. So one thing that was very helpful is to join the Slack thread where the conversation was happening for the event, because this is where a lot of posts were coming in.
The internet's kind of spotty there too, so don't rely entirely on that. But yes, it is. There's so many people trying to access it at one time, so start loading and be prepared to wait a minute.
Last year, we also had an event website that had a list of the different events going on. So like Rodney said, you can't really count on the Wi-Fi. Sometimes it may be spotty. So if possible, ahead of time, download your sessions, take screenshots, because what you would want to know in the rush of it all is, where is my next session and which room is it in? So there's a bunch of rooms scattered all around the Moscone Center, and sometimes the difference between one session and another is a long walk away. So you would want to know where you're going next. That's very important. And it will be handy if you can download that the previous day, just so that you're prepared how your day look like. It will allow you to have the upper hand in a place that is loaded with people. There's so many people all the time. So what we're trying to give you is a few hints so that you can actually benefit of what is there and have a good experience. It's not a race, but in a way it kind of is, because if you wait too long, you're not getting a lunchbox.
The food's good, at least. It's worth the wait, so.
Networking while you're at the event is a wonderful opportunity. I've met so many people over there, people who live in different cities. There were so many people who are traveling from different countries. Their companies gave them that privilege as designers to come and attend Config. So it was wonderful to talk to different people, hear about different contexts of why they were there and what they were eager to learn about, hear what they were actually doing in their work. And it was very easy to connect on LinkedIn right there on the spot. So lastly, to sum it all up for you, here are some key recommendations from me. First, pick up that badge early, one day before if you can. Join the Slack channel, download the event website and keep track of things. connect with people online if you wish before going, or at least the people you network with, connect with them on LinkedIn to grow your social network of designers, and get there early. Every day, those 2 days, just get there early, get the booth and the shopping and anything else you want to do out of the way, and then be ready for those events.
My recommendations are do your homework around the area you're staying. Take advantage of being in San Francisco. Go check out the Botanical Garden. Go to this Golden Gate Park, which is ironically not right beside the Golden Gate. Try some local food, get your walking shoes, wear walking shoes. That is definitely a recommendation if you are going to be exploring. Try out some local restaurants. I already mentioned the food is good at the event, but there's so much stuff to love around the Moscone Center. Just don't be afraid to say hi and see where the conversation's going. I met so many people who are working on such cool stuff. You've got the regulars, working on apps and like payment systems and things. But I also met people using Figma to make streetwear and like create pins and things like that. So it's really neat to just expand your horizon and see what people are using Figma for. I would say beyond that is make the most of those engagements, right? Like Nehmat said, add someone to LinkedIn. But yeah, if you really vibe, go get lunch, make a friend. Yeah, even the AI agrees. So yeah, just like if you're an introvert, accept that you got to go outside of your shell for a brief moment, and that is going to be so rewarding, guys. It's amazing to meet people who are designers. Might take for granted that we're surrounded by designers at work all the time. This is like an actual opportunity to talk to people who aren't working on the same product, right? Like somebody who can, just help round out your worldview or just teach you something new. And you might have a friend like for life. So just say hi. And if you see me, come say hi.
And lastly, for those of you who are coming from outside the United States or North America in general, I want you to be prepared and just adjust your expectation. This is actually a recommendation for everybody because I wish I adjusted my expectations. But be prepared that not all sessions are fully design oriented. There were sessions that showcased some famous film directors last year or things like that. There are things that would be culturally not necessarily familiar for you, but that's absolutely okay. You're not there just for the learning. It's more of a privilege and a joy just to be there and join this incredible, huge designer network that is unified by this wonderful tool that we are using. Adjust your expectations. No expectations always leads to a happier result, but whatever you do, do not miss that first keynote session because that is the most important session. So get there early. Make sure you're there for the announcement of all the updates. And for those of you who are following my channel, I will definitely share all those updates with you and how to use them as soon as they are released. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's always really wonderful to be able to share our experience with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Nehmat. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. See you at Config.